welcome back, welcome back. Welcome to all my fellow and loyal subscribers, viewers alike. If you are new to this channel for the first time, welcome, welcome. This is Meaningful Intuitive Guided Tarot. Welcome aboard on this channel, aka MIGT Train. I promise you, for the new viewers that have just recently come aboard this channel, this MIG train, I promise you, you will not be bored. I have a lot of delectables, whatever that word is, you get it. There's a whole lot of treats that I got offered upon this train. So at any time, when you get a chance, feel free to browse along to see what this channel has to offer. I do bring so many various kinds of readings, so it's never a bored ride. All right, so I just wanted to put that out there. But welcome and welcome, welcome back. So, as you can tell by the title, I have honored a request from subscriber Angie. And Angie, you have requested me to do a reading on the Real Housewives of Atlanta housewife, aka Kandi BURRUS, and Todd TUCKER, her husband. And so you wanted to know, will Todd, her husband, divorce Kandi? Because you said it appears like he is ready to leave the marriage. So, very interesting. Now, I will say that I do follow Kandi on Facebook. And so, you know, not like religiously, but I do follow her on that platform, on Facebook. So every now and then, you know, her feeds will come up and so forth. But when I saw your request and I saw that question, immediately I began to tap into Todd's emotions. And I was actually, when I seen it, I was in my elevator and coming off the elevator, coming into my apartment door, and I begin to, because one of my strongest clair's gifts is clairsentient, because I am very, very connected to people's emotions and their energy. And so it's almost like experiencing like an inner body, you know, out of body type of experience where I'm putting myself like inside that person to kind of absorb and pick up their energy, right? And immediately when I saw your question to see how it is that Todd is feeling, he is feeling useless. That was like the first word that I felt. So before we get into the actual spread of the reading as to what came out pertaining to your question, I'm just going to just put my intuitive twist on it a little bit before we get into my tools to tarot. And like I said, he feels useless. He is feeling, so regardless of the smiles, when you see them together taking pictures, when you do see them together in photos and you see that smile is just there because it's an image. It's just there for show. But inside, this man is really, really hurting. He feels so diminished as a man. Okay? Kandi, as we know, not only is a housewife that is appearing, or I think she's still on it, I'm not sure. I used to follow it like religiously back in the day, and I just kind of like stopped. So I'm assuming she may still be on the show, but anyway, that's where she became, you can say, known for being that. Well, not really, because she is the singer, and she is from the girl group Escape. So she is the singer. She is a housewife on that show, and she is the songwriter, and as we know, she is a business owner. So Kandi absolutely has so many hats, right? But when it comes down to who ultimately is labeled as the sole provider, the one that wears the hat, when it comes between Kandi and Todd, it looks like Kandi is the one that wears the hat. She looks like the one that holds down that household. And so when you think about it, you know, we have been conditioned to know, right, that the man is the one that ultimately is the provider. He is the one that holds down the household financially, right? And so when we look at, again, we look at what it is and the things that Kandi has, what she's engaged in, right? Her net worth in comparison to her husband is way more, right? And so, with that being said, she is the one that is basically, I don't know if it's 100% and if he is contributing, but something tells me that this man may not even contribute anything toward the household. If he does, it's very little in comparison to Kandi. All right? But when I tell you that he feels less of a man, he just feels like he's not needed. And so, with all of that being said, when I think about your question, as we will continue and bring in the tools, you will see that that question is not far-fetched in terms of what it is that he might be thinking. And I'm going to tell you now that this is not something that he has recently thought about in terms of if he is considering just walking away and leaving the marriage. This is something that he's been contemplating for a moment. And when I say that, I will say maybe for the past few years, I would say. Now, I forget what year they got married, but I would say, let's put it this way. I would say the past maybe 3 years, give or take, is when I feel that it's really making him feel more and more that he is not needed. And these 3 years, you can say, has put him in a hangman type of energy, which is a part of the spread. That hangman energy is looking at things from a different perspective. The hangman energy is also someone that is giving a lots of thought. They are really thinking hard. It's like they have been building up frustration, if you will, because there's some internal frustrations that I feel that has been brewing, right? Now, whether or not he has expressed this to Kandi is another thing. He might have, right? But even if they had that discussion and how he truly feels about her pretty much being the head, right? And kind of like really being the ultimate sole provider of that household, where he just feels like he is not contributing in any kind of way, right? It just means that his internal conflict, that it's been bothering him, I feel it really, really bothers him. If he has like a close buddy or friends, and I feel there may be one to three at least that he has that is close buddies, I feel that this has been something that he has confided in his guy friends. Like, man, Kandi is out here, she got this going. Every time I turn around, she got this going. She's into this. Even though I believe that the restaurant that they have, because I think they both partnered in that. They have a restaurant in Atlanta, so I do believe that that might be the only type of business that you can say that they might share or have collaborated with pertaining to that restaurant that they have in Atlanta. Right? I don't know if she had another, restaurant in another city, but I know in Atlanta they have like a restaurant. But I feel that he confides in his friend or buddies about the situation and maybe getting their advice as to how they would feel and what they would do, because I feel it's really bothering him. So whether or not him and Kandi have discussed this, and whether or not he might have just kind of just like stroked his shoulders and say, whatever. But it's like when he goes off and is by himself at night, laying down by himself, when she's maybe off touring, maybe she's off, doing her own solo projects without him, right? I feel that that's where it really gets to him. So he is mentally stressed and internally bothered by his position, which for a man, it's a very diminished, very low position. It's one thing if the spouse, that of the feminine, the woman contributes something, but ultimately it's always looked at that the man should always be the one contributing more. But whatever and how society sees it, it's something about the man that makes him feel, that is his pride, that is his joy for the most part, right? For any masculine that is watching this, I want you to, drop in your comments and let me know what you think about that. How would you feel if your wife was someone whose network was way more than yours and she has so many different things going on? How would you feel? I would like to know. I want this to be like a very interactive kind of conversation, if you will. So please share your feedbacks, right? But I just feel that overall, it's the man that is looked upon as the one that, as they say, the man brings home the bacon and then, the rest, right? So I'm just trying to be cautious too because, I don't want, the feminine women's coming for me, but it's not that we women are not, because we don't want to always be seen as either the man go to work and then we are home taking care of the babies. And no, this is a whole different type of era. I think you guys can follow me and know where I'm trying to go with this, right? Because women are independent now in this time, and I feel that it's good that us women, especially when we are married, it's better, or it gives us a sense of independence, right? But how far is that independence, right? So the question is also, has Kandi taking her independence a bit too high, where she have pretty much made her husband fall off the scale altogether and being that provider? All right, so if that makes sense. So that is what I picked up intuitively. Now we're going to get into the cards. All right, so before we go on though, I always like to mention the zodiac signs of the celebrities, because this way we know that if that energies happens to come out into the reading, then we know that that is their energy. All right, so Todd his zodiac sign is a Leo, so that makes him a fire sign. And Candace her zodiac sign is a Taurus, like myself. I'm a Taurus as well, so I very well know what it is and how she's accomplishing what she's accomplishing, because that's our thing, right? But again, there's always, when it comes down to stubbornness, because Taurus are stubborn, we are loyal, we are dedicated, we are hard workers, we like to achieve things, right? So, but again, when it comes to family, when it comes to how we define that and how far we let those traits go when we are in a marriage, that it doesn't conflict with that of kind of taking away the role that your husband take as well, right? So again, she's a Taurus, he's a Leo. And just for reference, Todd is a production manager and a producer. He produced these movies, which I did not know, but he produced a movie known for Thinner in 1996. And then it seems recently The Past, which was this year, along with The Piano Lesson. So it shows that he was behind producing those films. Now, Candace, as I mentioned, she is, as we know, the housewives from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, as well as a singer, a songwriter, and overall a business owner. Now, I just wanted to point out that it was said, and I do recall this because, like I said, I used to watch Atlanta Housewives religiously, like when it first came out, and I watched the first few years of it, back when Nene Leakes was on, because I don't think she's on it anymore. If she's on, maybe like just appearance here or there, but I don't think she's on it. And again, if you guys know, let me know if she's still on the Housewives. But anyway, it was mentioned, I remember on the episode, this was right when Kandi and Todd met, so you can say in their early stages of dating and so forth, and maybe after, like they were like in a relationship and so forth. It was said that although Todd had his own production company in New York where he met Kandi, she told him to quit it and to build with her. That episode on the Housewives aired, like I said, back early on when the Housewives pretty much came out. So, drawing upon that question, again, to your question, Angie, as to will Todd divorce her, I feel will always be something that will be in the back of his mind. After all that I mentioned intuitively, that is something that has been always on his mind. But he's just kept it inside. He's held back from really taking that risk to just walk away from it, right? From the marriage. Because as I mentioned, when a wife have her husband to be removed as the head of the sole provider of that household, that will make him feel useless as a man. It's like you have diminished his major pride and ego of holding down that household. He feels he has nothing to offer. He doesn't feel needed. And that's how I feel with Todd. That's exactly how I feel. I'm confident that's how he feels. Okay? So with that being said, let us now proceed on. In addition to what I intuitively picked up, let's see now how it is and what the cards, what my spirit guides have connected me to, the strongest energies pertaining to will Todd divorce Kandi. So I want to say during the pre-shuffle, I wrote down the cards, energies. Now my light is bright. Generally I don't have it this bright, but when I look back sometimes at my videos, I see how the background kind of be dark. So I kind of pumped up my light, my ring light, so it'd be a little bit more brighter. So you may not see closely the cards. This is just a test. Okay, you might see the cards, but here I wrote down the energies during the pre-shuffle. So right as I opened up my deck to begin shuffling, the first card that came out, or the first card that was shown, was the King of Swords. The King of Swords is a divorced man, just like the Queen of Swords. They are both divorcees. So that right there gave me, and I kind of felt somehow it was going to either come out in the actual spread or that I was going to somehow see it. And like I said, as soon as I opened it, there was the King of Swords. So that lets me know that at some point in the future, and I feel in the near future, that it may lead to him divorcing her. Okay? But the first card that came out, and by the way, this was a 6-card pull, and I'm going to just go one by one instead of just going through it. So the first card that came out was the Two of Pentacles, right? So Pentacles, you can say, could be Candace's energy, but this is his energy simply because you asked, will he be the one that will walk away and leave the marriage, not vice versa. If it was vice versa, then I would say this is Candy's energy because she's a Taurus, which is earth signs, and Pentacles is associated with earth signs. But this is his energy, right? And I will say that his energy pretty much took over the reading. It's very little energy of Kandi. So that right there in itself let me know how much that this has been weighing on his mind. Speaking of which, the Two of Pentacles is exactly that. It's twos in the deck always represents having to make a choice, a decision, but like weighing the ups and downs, weighing the pros and cons. So if he is in that hangman energy, which is what it is that is being shown on the top of the deck, is the hangman energy. On the top of the deck is the hangman energy. So the hangman is somewhat like that Two of Pentacles, that it's at a rest. You're waiting. You're thinking about it. You're thinking if I should stay or if I should go, right? You're having to make a decision. You're kind of figuring things out. You're trying to very hard, look at things from a different perspective. Maybe trying to see, okay, can I really get past how I feel about not being like the major provider of my family? Can I get past that feeling? Or is it so much where he can't take it anymore and he decides, I just can't and I have to move on, right? So that could be what is going on with him. And speaking of which, to clarify that, I really didn't even have to clarify because I already knew where this was kind of pointing to, but I just did. So I pulled out one clarifier for the Two of Pentacles, and what came out is the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords is the card of communication, being open. So I feel that either he has been open about it, but I also feel that this is something that he will be more open about expressing in a way. But it's also being truthful, because the Ace of Swords is about truth. Not only communication, but it's speaking the truth. The truth and nothing but the truth. And I feel that when it's all said and done, this is either something he has already communicated to Kandi or something that is like coming up. And it might be like in another month from now, right? That this might be something that he would just open up and just share. But I also feel that, like I mentioned before, is something that he has been expressing to like either a friend or his buddies about the situation, okay? And maybe whatever it is that they are telling him, it's like it's building up in him that courage to kind of just lay it out and just let her know how he's been feeling. And I feel also if he speaks to her about it, where maybe let's just say he feels, well, you know, I want to contribute more, or I feel like, you know, I want to go back to managing and being, you know, what did I say? He was a production manager. I want to go back to my company. You know, I want to kind of focus now more into my own stuff, right? Because us partnering is good, but I need to feel like I'm independent in a sense, and where also I am kind of, because I don't know if and how much, like exactly how much of his managing pertain to his company that he's in, and if it's really like generating much. But I feel that whatever he's generating, it's nothing compared to what she is generating. So I feel there's a part of him that wants to kind of do his own stuff, and I feel that maybe she kind of also blocks that, is what I feel. So with that being said, I feel like if he opens up and express to Kandi how he feel, seeing if she will be okay or open to that, that's also influencing this energy as well of the Two of Pentacles. Trying to see how she feels. It's almost like depending on how she feels about it. Like if she gives me that okay and kind of like I understand, then that kind of will make him feel a little bit more, you know, free and feel a little bit more better, because then he'll know, okay, I'm back to what I used to do before I met Kandi, and now I'm feeling more like I'm bringing in my sense of what I'm supposed to do as the head of my household, if that makes sense, right? That's what I feel, okay? But there's definitely some type of communication that I feel is going to come up between them, particularly him toward her. Now, the next card that came out is the Page of Swords. So, the Page of Swords is different things. The page it's associated with youth. It's news that can be delayed. And this is what I'm saying, that the communication of him wanting to just talk to her and let her know how he feels, I feel is something that he has been holding back from. He hasn't really maybe really expressed it. It's been something that it's been going on for quite some time. But also the Page of Swords is also labeled as the card of surveillance, right? So it's observing. Some say spy. But to me, this is him observing her, okay? And we're going to see what it is that he's observing. But I feel overall, he's just observing her movements. he's observing everything there is pertaining to Kandi when it comes to how she maybe handles him, right? And how she speaks to him. Maybe how even he respects her. Even when it comes to her own stuff. Because I know Kandi also, especially on that Facebook, she has, what is that thing called? She has like the dungeon, that dungeon type of thing that she has going on, that she does. And I know she have dancers and so forth. And even though I have seen Todd a part of it, but I don't think he's always a part of it, right? And I also feel there's a part of him that feels like he's kind of like tired of it, like he's bored of it. And again, I feel that he may have even expressed, "Nah, you go ahead, I'm not interested." And maybe, she kind of like maybe pushes him to kind of be involved in it. But nonetheless, I feel like he just watches her. So right now, you can say he is just observing things at a distance. He's just like observing, but also taking notes. And by him observing, it is sort of bringing him some sort of clarity. Remember the hangman? The hangman is there to get clarity on something. And clarity to see whether or not he will want to walk away from this marriage. And to clarify that Page of Swords, we have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is holding on or holding back from something. And I feel it's communication that he's been holding on. Because Swords also deals with communication. Swords is associated with air signs, air energy, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. But the Swords is communication, right? But Four of Pentacles, this energy is holding back, right? It's holding back. But in the essence, Pentacles is associated with money. It's associated with finances. So it's like a part of him feels, like I said, that he's been holding on to just what he has, but I feel there's a part of him that wants to explore, come out, and unleash on his own, right? It's almost like he feels he's behind the shadows of Kandi. So it's like she's in front of him, and technically you can say it's like the man that's supposed to be in front and the woman behind, or if you want to, together, right? Where it's like an equal type of, energy, if you will, at least like equal, right? But it's almost like he feels he's in the shadows. He's behind her, right? And so that's another part that I feel that he's been watching. It's almost like he's saying, how long? Like, does she see this? Like, does she see how I feel, or how I have been feeling about this, just being in the shadows? And I feel that that's a part of a piece of something that he have expressed to Kandi. Like, do you know how I feel? Like, Kandi, it's not that I'm knocking you, and it's not like I don't congratulate you on what it is you have achieved, but like, what about me? I kind of feel like he feels, again, diminished. And it's like, where do I fit in at? That's what I feel. Moving on to the next card, the third energy we have is the Page of Cups. So here we have another page popping up. Page of Cups is a love offer, or it could be an apology. Now, this can go different ways. I don't know if this is per se where he is looking for an apology from Kandi. It's possible in one aspect. And another aspect, though, what I saw was, remember the Page of Swords in the second position. That Page of Swords is looking toward this Page of Cups, right? So what does that mean? Is he observing her to see, now when she does those shows, I know she has lots of male guys that dances, and that is a part of those dungeon shows that she has, right? And so I don't know if he's observing her, like when she is involved in those things, when he's not like a part of it, like on stage, and he's either there, in the front row, or there as like, you know, I'm trying to, a guess, right? I don't know, but I feel also he is observing her in terms of how she behaves when it comes to other guys. So a part of me feels that this Page of Cups is where he's looking at her, maybe seeing other guys come toward her, and then seeing how she is going to respond to that. That is the part that I'm feeling intuitively more so than like just an apology. But it could be where if he's wanting her to apologize as to how he's been feeling. But I'm really feeling that this has to do with somebody on the outside. Again, when she is dealing with and having to have men, you know, he is looking to see the younger guys because Todd is 50 years old. And so Kandi, you know, she's an attractive woman. She is 46 years old, but she is very attractive, you know, and so of course she's going to have men to be attracted to her as well. And so I feel that that might be something that he might see from a distance. There's a curiosity in him as well that wonders if she has indulged in any type of mischievous types of behaviors. I'm gonna put it like that. So there's something in the back of his mind that always is a bit suspicious about her movements when it comes around to those shows. Okay? Now to clarify that Page of Cups, we got the Star. Okay? And the Star is technically it's associated with the sign of Aquarius, but Aquarius carries the water bearer. It's associated with the water bearer. So if you can see this water here, and what I'm feeling is it's connected to emotions, right? The cups is connected to emotions. So it's a part of him in one aspect that I didn't mention, that I'm going to mention now, in pertaining to what this Page of Cups is, also is he's asking himself, how much does she love me? That is something that he wonders. How much does she love me? Because right now he feels that Kandi don't love him that much, like how it was in the beginning of their marriage. He feels that her love, that her love for him has diminished. That's another aspect. And again, going back to the Star energy, which is the major arcana, this is to me connected to his emotions and how he feels, how she feels toward him. It's love. It's something about the water, something about emotions. I feel like at times he feels emotionally concerned if and how much she really loves him, or that she does love him, but again, that's why he's been like kind of looking at her. And I feel like he may have even said, do you still love me? Or how much do you love me? Because I feel that he seems to be more home and she's more out. So again, even though you may see them taking pictures together, right? And he puts on this smile, inside that man is hurting. He's emotionally kind of perturbed right now in this point of his marriage. Okay? I'm going to put it like that. So let's move to the next card. The energy in the fourth position, we have the Knight of Wands. This here was something that I kind of chuckled a bit. When I said chuckled, like kind of laughed a little bit to myself when I was, preparing this card, the spread, because the Knight of Wands is a passionate card. It can also be a lustful energy, right? And so I feel that he feels that Kandi only wants him just for sex. That's the first thing that came to me intuitively. She feels that other than sex, I have no other purpose. It's like I don't serve no other purpose, but when it comes down to sex, intimacy, I'm good for that. But like nothing else. That is what I'm picking up on. And then it's like after, she's done, or after they are done with their intimate moment, then it's like she's off. So there's a part of him that feels alone. So I feel, just like I just said a few minutes ago, it's a part where he might be more on the home front and she's like out doing her thing. And then when she come back home and when they together, it's like, okay, it's that time, but there's something lustful about how she sees him in a sense. It's like, that saying when men used to say, pertaining to a woman, I think how a man says, a woman, a woman may say, he just looks at me as a piece of meat or something like that. So if I'm right about that saying, I feel it's flipped. How he look at her, that he is just a piece of meat for her, if that makes sense. That's what I feel. And then to clarify that, we got the Hermit. Hermit is a solitary energy, alone, right? It's generally, when it comes up, depending on the flow of the reading, the Hermit comes up if you're needing to kind of pull back to get clarity. It could also be like a spiritual type of energy, where you are, trying to figure out like your spiritual calling, your spiritual destiny. But as I mentioned before in another video, all the cards, it's not going to always come up as the same meaning. So whatever usually is associated with the Hermit, it's not going to be that same meaning. For me, this is speaking upon Todd and how he feels. He feels alone most of the times, I feel. Again, regardless that he may go out and be, seen with her, I feel that there's a part that he seems alone in this marriage. Let alone feeling alone and then feeling like he is not needed. That is a recipe for a man that you can say may be thinking about divorce. Okay, let's wind down. The next card in the 5th position we have here is the 5 of Pentacles. This is his energy. Okay, and his energy is feeling someone that his resources is low, because 5 of Pentacles, of course, is pertaining to money, pertaining to your resources, right? It could pertain to business, but it's a loss, feeling a loss. But emotionally, it could be also how he feels, again, in this marriage, just like that Hermit, feeling alone, feeling like he has been abandoned, or he feels abandoned, because it's also a card of abandonment, being left out in the cold. So there's a part of him that feels that Kandi leaves him out in the cold. He feels alone in this marriage. Okay, and that can happen. It's been heard and seen so many times. You could be with your spouse, but so many times your spouse can feel still alone in that marriage, right? And so it's a matter of, does the person is aware of it? Is this something that he really have expressed to Kandi? Is she aware of how he really feels? Or does she just have just a slight, a snippet of how he feels? But this man, I feel, is definitely feeling alone. But it also represents, when it comes to his resources and his net worth, it's very little. Because again, if she had him to quit, and it's more where he is collaborating with her, but at the end, it's almost like even the collaborative type of partnership that they have, it always seems like she is benefiting from it more than he is, if that makes sense, right? Now, to clarify that 5 of Pentacles, we have the Page of Wands, right? To me, again, this is his energy. Him wanting to kind of get back into building up his resources, right? Going back to the things that he once initiated for himself prior to meeting Kandi. Whatever projects, whatever it is that he wants to do, there's a burning desire that he wants to do. But again, I feel that he feels diminished when it comes to the things that he wants to do, right? It's almost like she wants him to kind of be more of a partner and the things that they're working on, but when it comes to his own solo project and the things that he wants to do, there seems to be like an issue there. That's what I'm picking up pertaining to this Page of Wands. So again, this Page of Wands is his energy wanting to refocus, wanting to reignite something that he once had a zeal, a passion for. And speaking of which, this is his energy, because Wands is associated with fire sign, and he is a Leo, by the way. So is the Knight of Wands, just for emphasis. I noticed I didn't mention it because this is his energy. And these are the only two energies that have actually come out pertaining to him. But even if there weren't more Wands, this is his energy that have took over this reading. But these two is definitely his energy, because we have Knight of Wands and Page of Wands. He's a Leo. So this shows that he definitely has something that he wants to kind of get back into. But I feel that perhaps, right, Kandi may be kind of not wanting him to do that. All right. Now, as we close out and wind down to the last energy, in the sixth position, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So I'm getting two different messages here. In one instance, this is what he wants to reconnect with, getting back to his independence, because the Nine of Pentacles is a card of independence. It's a card of comfort. It's a card of being content where you at financially. And I feel that this is how he's feeling. He wants to go from this Five of Pentacles to this Nine of Pentacles. But in another aspect, this Nine of Pentacles, I feel, is Kandi's energy here, because it's like he's comparing. He's comparing what he has, which in comparison to Kandi is very little, and he sees her being independent, doing her thing, and being content. But overall, it's like my contentment. She seems to be doing her thing and content, but for me, I'm discontented with where I am at in my life. So there's definitely a strong need for him to get back into the things he once loved. And sure enough, clarifying out of Pentacles is the Lovers. Okay? So the Lovers is loving what you do, doing what you love. This is what he wants to go back to doing. Because I feel, again, for emphasis, he is not where he wants to be financially. When it comes to his production company and him managing, I feel that, I don't know if he is involved and maybe just have very little, I don't know. But it's nothing in comparison to the things that Kandi is involved in. So he's definitely comparing, and for sure, out of all of these energies, the one that to me stands out here is the Page of Swords. So, to answer your question, will he divorce Kandi? It's very strong. I would say yes. I think it's on that verge. He's just been observing. And when you observe, to kind of look at things from a bird's eye view, from a distance, and that hangman energy, it's definitely something that he is contemplating here. And at the bottom of this deck, with the hangman on top, look at that Lover's energy again. We have the death and rebirth that is well showing up here, which means something ends for something else to happen. And then there's the Fool energy. If you can see, I know my light. The Fool energy is like a reset. So this might be what he is planning and preparing. But I get the feeling that if he does, it's going to come out of the blue. In other words, I did see the Tower during the pre-shuffles. Let me see if I actually wrote that down. Yes, I have the Tower. I know it's going to be hard for you to see. So along with the other pre-shuffle energies I saw the Tower, which is not a good energy pertaining to like a question like this, because the Tower is something that suddenly happens, right? So it could be where in the next couple of months or so, he, without any type of warning, because Towers is not meant, they weren't designed to give you a warning. They just happen. It's an unexpected energy. And I feel that at some point, within this year, it might be a few months, maybe 2 to 3 months. That might be the earliest. It might be on the top of 2024 that he might decide I'm out, where he might decide to take that leap of faith and just, walk away from the marriage, unfortunately, right? I'm not one for marriages to end. I don't like divorce. As long as it's not abusive. If you are in an abusive marriage, there's no reason like that. I don't condone that at all, as most of us would not, right? But if it's something that can be discussed and worked about, getting, marriage counseling to save a marriage, do what you can at the end to try your best, to try your best to try to work through it and see if it's something that you can do. But for a man in his status and how he feels, it's like he have no status. So that is going to be something that he would strongly have to discuss with Kandi. And again, the question goes to, how will she respond? Will it like go over her head and she continue to treat him, and leave him out in the cold? That would be kind of hard to kind of like stick around for, right? Especially for a man. But I wanted to also point out that at the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Swords. And I feel this is Todd's energy. Early on, I think I mentioned this energy here, the Nine of Swords. This is someone that is at night when he's alone in the bed by himself. He is mentally perturbed by where he's at and how he's feeling in this marriage, right? He's mentally, I feel he's mentally conflicted. I mentioned conflicted. He's internally conflicted. It really bothers him. It really does. So regardless of the fact, again, that you see him out and about or you see him with these photos with Kandi, it don't mean anything. It's something that it is bothering him internally. And so to that, as we close out this reading, to answer your question, do I see a divorce? It's strong. Yes, I feel it. I feel it. It could be on the top of the new year. It's possible. That might be the earliest. We have to see how all of this plays out, right? If this happens, I will come back to, do an update for that. But I will say maybe within the next couple of months. The only way that this would be avoided is if, I think it really does have a lot to do with Kandi. If they can sit down and talk, and he's really, like that Ace of Swords, being honest and truthful, it really depends on how she will respond. Her response is going to either make it or break it. Because if her response is nonchalant and she's not aware of what it is and how it's making him feel, right? Even by her apologizing, if that's what it is that she realizes, if she realizes how he's been feeling, and she let the man have a sense of his own independence, right? Let him get back to what he wants to, get to his own projects, having and feeling a sense of independence. Maybe saying, okay, Todd, then let us readjust the bills. So let's just say, let me pay these 2 bills and then you pay the rest. So that's just an example. Whatever it is that's going to make him feel more like he is contributing to that household, that would be the only way that he does not walk away from this marriage. I really believe it depends on Kandi. If Kandi, on the other hand, is not like it's landing on deaf ears and he see that nothing has changed, I strongly feel, yes, that a divorce will be happening in the near future. All right, Angie, that's how I feel. So, Angie, this is what I got for you. I hope I addressed your questions there. If so, send some fire to that thumbs button to give me a like. And as well, come back for me to the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you feel about this. And anyone else who have an opinion and would like to share what they feel about it, let me know as well. All right, so this is what I got. This will be the last request. This was the only request because I do know I have 3 more that is waiting in the wings. And it is, like I said, first comes, first serve. But I do also not only bring readings to this platform, but I also have personal readings that I do outside of this platform. So I have a personal reading that I have with a client, and so this will be the only subscribers request reading that I will honor for this evening, so that I can go tend to my personal client, because I am and do personal readings. And speaking of which, if any of you would like your own personal reading that is suited for your energy and what's going on in your life, I am open for private sessions. So the information will be linked into the description box as well. All right, everyone, until the next subscriber's request, I'm wishing all of you a wonderful and a beautiful and a positive Thursday night. Peace, love, and light. Thank you for watching. Bye.